What's up, guys? Magic Libra back today with my new deck profile, and this is not a deck I have posted on this channel before. I like to call this deck profile Engine Fluid. Now, I went, I like naming my decks. Generally you play Dark Magician, okay, it's a Dark Magician deck. Or you play, Fiendsmith, Horus, okay, it's Fiendsmith, Horus deck. And that's all you see. But you got all these different names of these different decks. But I wanted to name this one a little bit different because this one has a little bit extra spice to it that you have probably never seen before. And you're probably wondering, wait, Fiendsmith Horus, I haven't even seen that before. Well, if you haven't, you should definitely go take a look at it. I'm pretty sure someone has at least thought of that before. But if not, hey, I'm the only guy. But we're going to take that a bit further. So this is Engine Fluid. And I went through naming this deck 5-star Engine. I was going to name it Gender Fluid just because of the laughs and giggles. But I was like, you know what? Engine Fluid sounds a lot better because it's just a bunch of engines mixed together that just work fluid. They work together. And it's just beautiful. So let's go ahead and get on into the deck profile, guys. Okay, so starting off for our first engine, we have 3 Fiendsmith Engraver to start off our Fiendsmith combo plays. This is one of our 1-card starters. In fact, all of our Fiendsmith cards in here, -1, are all 1-card combo starters for the entire Fiendsmith engine. Next off, we have 1 Lacrima, the Crimson Tears, which also starts off our combo by herself. Then we have 1 Fabled Lurie, which also starts off our combo by itself with the help of Lacrima later on down the road. And then we play 3 Fiendsmith Tract. Now, do mind that I am using the Asian English copies, so until I get the real copies, I'm just going to be using these for right now. So we're playing 3 Fiendsmith Tract. This helps search our Lurie, or we can search for the any of our other light fiends, which can help us also start if Lurie's already in the grave. But this also helps search Lurie to discard Lurie, and then you start the whole combo off with that. Now, to top off the Fiendsmith card, this is the 1 extra card I have decided to put into the deck, and that's going to be our Fiendsmith in Paradise. And you haven't saw me post anything about this before. It's because someone really recommended this to me. And it's pretty much a board wipe. It's a basic, set this trap, flip it, board wipe. That's all it does. You can use its grave effect to banish, to send a Fiendsmith card from deck or extra deck to grave for other plays. I was thinking about putting in the Rex fusion monster that's a Fiendsmith, but I just didn't have the room, or I didn't want to put it in for, other cards I wanted to play for the extra deck. So just using this as a searchable board wipe is still pretty nice. And that's going to be it for our Fiendsmith engine in the deck. Let's go ahead and move on into our next engine. Okay, so for our next engine, of course, we mentioned it earlier before. It is our Horus engine. So we will be playing 3 Imseti Glory of Horus, which is one of our main 1-card starters that requires any discard. But it's not technically a discard. You send from hand, you don't discard. So make sure to keep that in mind, because if you send Lurie, it will not activate. Next, we're going to be playing only 2 other Horus monsters, and we're going to be playing 1 Happy, Guidance of Horus, and 1 Dimitif, Blessing of Horus. So, neat thing about Imseti is that if, your opponent uses a card effect to remove any other card off of your field, Imseti can activate to target and remove that card off the field. Happy can target 2 cards in the grave or banishment and either add them to hand or back to deck. And that's any cards, both banishes, both graves. Pretty good. Now, the thing about Dimitif is actually pretty darn good, is that you get to draw cards equal to the number of monsters you control with different names. No, it is not Horus monsters. So that is what I love about this card. This is a free draw 5, basically. Or it could possibly be draw 6. But generally is more like a draw 3. On most cases. But hey, just drawing 3 cards without discarding a single thing is still pretty nice. Next up, we are going to be playing 3 King Sark Now, I only have 2, so in place of it, I'm going to be playing Walls of the Imperial Tomb, which is also King Sark, but it doesn't come with the protection that King Sark has. Now, if you do have a 3rd King Sark, I do recommend playing 3 King Sark. If not, you can play the Walls like I am, but I still want to play 3 King Sark. I'm just waiting for the 3rd one to come in the mail. I just really did not want to wait any longer to post this deck profile because I've waited too long already. That's going to be it for our Horus engine. Now we're going to move on into the next engine. Okay, so for our next engine, it's more of a sub-engine for 2 different engines mixed together for a 10-card engine. So, 5 cards, we have 3 toy box, just so we can see it. And we pretty much use all 3 of this generally within a single duel if we don't kill them beforehand. Grind game, we'll play 3, 100%. So it's also still pretty good because this card is not once per turn. When I say that, I mean it's soft once per turn. So 1 card has the once per turn. You can then activate another and use that other card's effect to then set the spells and traps again, or to destroy spells and traps, which is pretty nice. In combo with that, we play 1 toy soldier and 1 toy box. And BT Dubs, toy engine, getting rid of toy soldier allows you to go into the full Fiendsmith combo engine. Now, in subsidiary with this 10-card engine, that's the first 5 cards. The other is a different engine that mixes very well with toy box. There's going to be the Souls package. So we're going to be playing 3 Magician Souls. That way we can send our toy tank and toy soldier as spells and traps to the grave to draw 2 and then special 2. Along with 2 Illusion of Chaos QCRs, which is pretty nice, to then search out our Magician Souls. Now, Souls is also still really good in this deck because Mseti is a dark spellcaster that's level 6 or higher. So you can also send Mseti to the grave, but if you don't already have access to your Horus cards, leave it in the deck. Just send Illusion of Chaos instead. But that is going to be it for the engines. So now we're going to move on into the non-engine. Okay, so for the non-engine, I really wanted to go heavy on the floodgate type of effects. So that is kind of where I put my main focus on when putting cards into my side deck and extra and main deck. Is to play non-engine type hand traps that have floodgates that are still beneficial in the metagame, that aren't just specific to one particular thing. So with that being said, we have 3 Droll and Lockbird, highest rarity I could afford, with my favorite art, which is still really nice. God, I love that. If only I had QCR, that would be nice. But yeah, 3 Droll and Lockbird, still pretty good. A lot of people search with their decks. Some people can play under Droll and Lockbird, and if you did not know, after you search 1 time with the Fiendsmith engine, it can play under Droll and do the whole combo. So if you didn't know that, when you get Drolled after you search with Fiendsmith, don't surrender. You can play the whole engine under Droll. So make sure to remember that. Also, we play 3 Nibiru, the Primal Being. Would I get the alt art for just the profile? Heck no. But I will get 1 copy for the collection binder. So that's pretty good. So 3 Nibiru is also a floodgate type card because instead of just affecting only 1 card, it gets rid of all cards to summon itself and a token. So that's basically a floodgate in a way. Now this is not a floodgate. We play 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. And it's not a floodgate because it doesn't just like affect everything all at once. But it does, it doesn't negate, but it destroys whatever card is being activated on the field that's already on the field. So it is a form of removal that is generic, and it doesn't just specifically move monster, spell, or trap, which is why it's still a really good card. Now, next up is specific for this type of deck, so it's not generic like these hand traps I've shown you so far. So we have Magician's Restage. Now, if you don't know what this does, it's basically for spellcasters, which the only target for Restage is Souls, but I'll show you why these 2 in tandem are just beautiful. So Restage, I'm going to grab it so I can also read it. Restage is a continuous spell, so it's kind of like Toy Box. You activate it, and then you have to activate it again. So Restage says you can target one level 3 or lower spellcaster monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field, so you cannot use it any other times except for that one time. If this card is sent to the grave, you can send one magician. You can add one magician continuous spell from your deck to your hand, except for Restage. So, in tandem, just quick short, play Restage, summon Souls back, Souls activate, send Restage, get to draw a card. Restage activates in grave, adds a magician continuous spell. So, and what are we adding? That is our next card. We have Magician's Right Hand. Now, if you don't know what this card does, it is also paired with Magician's Left Hand, which we are not playing because I don't see a whole lot of trap heavy decks, but everyone plays spells, so that's why we play the right hand. Right hand negates spells, left hand negates traps. What right hand does is it negates, while you control a spellcaster monster, it negates the first spell, card or effect that is activated by your opponent and destroys it. That's a floodgate type of card. It's not a, okay, activate this to negate. It's just immediately negated. This is a floodgate effect. It does not activate in response. You can try it yourself on Master Duel, which is the official simulator. You can ask all of your judges. This stuff negates Super Poly. It can negate the other cards like Dark Ruler No More. Other types of cards like that new Durandal, whatever that sword spell card is that just came out. It negates the first spell, which is still pretty nice because why we play this is because we do play with two different types of spellcasters that are always on our field. It's either always going to be Souls or it's always going to be Mseti. Souls eventually runs out, but Mseti keeps coming back. So that's why we play this. Only for going first. We side this out for going second, because there's no reason to set up a floodgate for going second. You need to worry about breaking your opponent's board, etc. Lastly, for our going first combo is we play There Can Be Only One, because we play a lot of different types in this deck, and we can flood our field with a bunch of different types and attack, whereas most opponents don't play with more than one or two types. So still pretty good. Now there are some decks that do, but not in the meta. So that's why this is a really strong card in the meta. Lastly, we play Skill Drain. Obviously, it's another floodgate. It just negates all the cards. The best thing about playing There Can Be Only One in Skill Drain is when we need to unlock ourselves, we just special summon the Souls, so long as we aren't locked into another spellcaster. Summon the Souls, activate the Souls, send both these to the grave, or one, whichever one we have, to unlock ourselves, and then it draws, because Skill Drain would be off the field, so the effect is not alive. It draws, and then you get to keep doing your combo, and your opponent's like, hey, that's not fair, but hey, that's game mechanics. So don't you love game mechanics? Anyways, we're going to move on into the extra deck. By the way, for that main deck, that was only 40 cards. Now, for the extra deck, we play a single copy of Fiendsmith's Requiem to go into our Fiendsmith combo. Next, we'll play one Fiendsmith sequence to fusion summon our Fiendsmith fusion monster. Then after we do so, we'll play one Fiendsmith's Agnumde to link off the fusion monster and that card to make this card. Then we'll revive back the fusion, equip that and equip that onto the fusion, and you can equip that if you don't shuffle that back into the deck. So all pretty standard for the Fiendsmith engine. Now we also play our one Fiendsmith's Desiree, which I keep at the top of the extra deck, but c'est la vie. That's going to be it for all of the Fiendsmith cards in the extra deck. Now, for the subsidiary cards that I play that are work in tandem with Fiendsmith, is I do play one Moon of the Closed Heaven, which has a dual effect or a reason for being in the extra deck other than just working for Fiendsmith, because it also works really great in tandem with our Link 5 Light Fiend monster, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, which helps us clear our opponent's board. Now, I am showing these all a little bit out of order because I had my whole extra deck from Link 1 to Link 5, and then Xyz to Fusion. So, I'm showing these a little bit out of order, and I'm going to have to reorganize all this later. But, yeah, now for our, I guess we'll go into, Horus next. We'll go into Horus. So, for our Horus type plays, we'll play number 38, Hope Harbinger, Dragon Titanic Galaxy for our spell negate. And I could make room for the new number S38 that just came out, but I don't have it yet. I'm not sure if I want to play it yet. It might be in a future deck profile. But this is basically Mach 1 version of this deck, and I'll just keep updating this deck. That's for going first with the Horus engine. Now, for going second, we'll play Garunix Eternity. Hyang of the Fire Pests. I think that's how you pronounce that name. Garunix Eternity is how you pronounce the first name. That's all that matters. He's fire. He's a beast. Actually, he's a pyro, but oh well. Anyway, it just makes, you just require 2 or more level 8 monsters to make it. So all the Horus monsters are level 8. You generally only want to use 2. When it's summoned, you just destroy all other cards on the field. So it's great for going second. It also is a spell and trap removal, so you just detach 1 material to target a card, a spell or trap, destroy it, and it gains 500 attack, so it goes all the way up to 3,500. And if it stays on the field, you can do it again and make it go to 4K, which is also pretty nice. To round off for our Xyz monsters, we also play 1 Typhon, which is pretty nice, but they say whenever you make this card, you're losing, and for the most part, that's true, but with this particular deck, when you start losing and you make Typhon, you can go into grind game and then come back, because what our deck does the best is its field gets broken and then it comes back again. The field becomes stronger the second time around, which is something that most players can't do, and it's hard to get over. That's what I love about this deck. Now, moving on into our links. So for our links, we have 2 other Link 2s, and that's going to be our IP Masquerena, which serves for a better effect other than just being in here. And no, she is not for SP Little Knight. This one we barely make, but we do make sometimes. But IP is not for SP. IP is for another card that we'll show you later on down the road. Usually we'll use our Link 2 Fiendsmith or our Link 2 Moon of the Closed Heaven with IP Masquerena to make this card. So instead of later, we'll show it to you now. Mekk-Knight Crusadia Abramax, which is a boss monster in our deck, which is pretty dang nice because you don't expect to see this card at all. You expect to see it in a Cyburst deck, but it doesn't require Cyburst to make it. It just requires 2 monsters summoned from the extra deck. So you just use IP Masquerena to make sure it can't be destroyed by card effects. Its own effect says it can't be targeted by card effects. It says that your opponent has to attack this card, but all their monsters have to attack this card first. It also says that during battle, once per battle or once per chain during battle, whatever, this monster's attack becomes stronger than your opponent's. So it has a lot to do, and I don't really remember all the card effects. It's a lot to remember, but reading is good. So read your cards. But yeah, this is a really strong boss monster, and a lot of people can't really get over this, especially when you protect it. If you don't protect it with IP, they still can't get over it. But when you protect it with IP, they're like, oh crap, yeah, I can't beat that. Where's my kaiju? And they ain't playing kaijus. So, lastly, we play a Link 3, which is going to be BLS Soldier of Chaos, which we make pretty often. You would think that it's just filler for the extra deck, but no, we actually make it pretty often because I believe it is the only monster in our extra deck that can be made with a token. I take that back. There is one other card I'm holding in my hand that can be made with a token. But this, I specifically have this in here to banish one of our opponent's cards, and to gain attack directly twice, all that. Sorry. But yeah, this is, all it requires is 3 monsters with different names. And the Nibiru token has a different name, and it is not an effect monster, so, you know, whatevs. It can be made with the Nibiru token. That's why it's in here. Anyway, so for our other Link 3, we're also playing a Floodgate Link 3, which is Scareclaw Tryhard. You make this thing, all the other monsters you have and your opponent goes into defense, and they can't swap their positions. Or they can, but, you know, they'll just go right back to defense after you swap them into attack. So, still pretty good, and having 3k attack is pretty nice. Lastly, for our last one, we play a Link 4, which is also like our Abramax here. So we have three Link 3s in the extra deck, 2 Link 4s, and a Link 5, which is pretty crazy for this deck. But we have Saruja Skulldread, because you know what they say about having where your best ideas come from? They come from on the toilet. And that's where I got this idea from. I was sitting one day, anyway, this guy came to mind, and I was like, wait a minute, I can play this card. I can abuse this. I could play 3 of this in my own deck, but I'm not. I'm only going to play 1. I only occasionally make this. See, when you make Skulldread, you basically you don't go into any other Link 3s or Link 4s. You may go into Link 2 and go Fusion or whatever. Or just some of the back monsters you want to keep on the board, like the Horus monsters. But you don't really ever go into another Link 4. So playing just 1 of this is fine, and it allows you to draw deeper into your deck and fix your hand, because you could have cards in your hand that you don't want, which can happen in this deck, but generally is pretty okay because you just use them to discard, or they're hand trapped, so you just wait for your opponent to make them activate. But yeah, now we're going to move on into the side deck, guys. So that is going to be a 40 card main deck, 15 extra deck, and 15 side. So let's go ahead and move on into the side deck. Okay, so for the side deck, this is completely subjective to your own locals or whoever you're dueling against. But I chose to specifically do generic stuff, which seems to be working out pretty well for me. So for the monsters, I have more Floodgates. So I've got 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood to just gain life points as soon as they activate a card effect that special summons a monster. And when they summon the monster, I gain that monster's attack. But if I activate this prematurely and I don't gain any attack or any life points from the attack of whatever monsters they summon, my life points are half during the end phase. So I always wait for them to activate a card effect that special summons a monster, then chain that, and then I gain life and I'm safe. So they either choose to keep comboing and making me gain up to 20,000 life points, or they choose to end their combo right there, which is what the Senpai Dragons use this card for maliciously. And that's why I'm going to be using it in this deck profile. For the other Floodgates, we have Artifact Lancia to prevent both players from banishing cards until, I believe it is, can banish cards for the rest of the turn. For the rest of the turn. I thought it was till the end of the next turn. You can tell how often I use this card. I have yet to sighted this in, but I have yet to face Malice, which is surprising. But I know there are Malice players, so I guess the matchups just haven't been working at locals. This is my own tech, which is actually still pretty reliable, which is going to be Lava Golem, because when going second, I am going to be sighting in this masterpiece, because I just removed my opponent's Fiendsmith, Desiree, removed their other Floodgate, or their other, not Floodgate, I removed their other Omni Negate, which is still pretty good, so it's a 2-for-1 banger, and they, if they choose to remove that from their field with Desiree's graveyard effect, by all means, that's fine by me. You lose a 3k beater. No, you don't take 1,000 damage, but you lose another monster off field, so hey, I'm fine with that. Now, this is my only one, like, particular hand trap that only affects one card, and that's going to be the Effect Veilers. I chose not to play the Imperms because we generally leave cards on our field. And so setting the Imperm doesn't... I don't really like to set it. I'd love to activate it from hand. So I chose to do the Effect Veiler because it's during our opponent's main phase. They're going to be doing combos during the main phase anyway, so it's pretty nice. But it's not always sighted in because just depends on if I know my opponent's deck or not, which to negate, which not. Which is why most of the stuff is floodgates anyway. Lastly is going to be 3 evenly matched, because if we're going second, honestly, playing evenly matched going second is just beautiful, because you're not really going to worry about going second and attacking if you're playing evenly. Skip that battle phase. Evenly matched. Make them negate it. That's what you want them to do. Make them negate it. If they can't, beautiful. You wipe their field, except for one card. Then you just go full combo from there. They might get 1 or 2 negates from hand traps and whatever card they chose left on the field. If they do negate it, you still go through your combos. Burn, bait their negate, then you go full combo with 1 or 2 cards left in your hand. It's pretty nice. But yeah, that's going to be it for the main deck, guys. Or the side deck. So, that is going to be it for the entire deck profile. Main deck, extra deck, and side deck. My win ratios are generally about 7-3. So, it's a pretty high win ratio. I would definitely try this deck profile. And this, the official name for this deck, I'm naming it. You can name it whatever you want, but this is what I name it. I'm naming this deck Engine Fluid Mach 1 because I'm just going to keep updating it, and it'll just be Mach 2, Mach 3, Mach 4, Mach 5, Mach 6, Mach 7, Mach 8. All right, anyway, that's going to be it, guys. If you like the profile, if you like the cards I'm playing, if you like the way it's played or want to know how it's played, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, share this video so we can get up to, I'm going to say 100 likes on this video. I don't care about the views. I want to see 100 likes. If you guys can make that happen, I'll definitely give you a test hands profile and combos profile for this deck and how it all works. Fluid, how we can break, how our board gets broken, and when we come back from a broken board, and etc. All the different ins and outs of this deck and how fluid it is. That's what I want to show you guys. So make that 100 likes happen. Share this profile with your friends. Make sure you share it with the world because it is beautiful. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. As always, make sure to keep it real. Peace out.